Springer, right?
And welcome to Atlanta, Georgia. You saw a shot of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and inside that stadium tomorrow at 4 o'clock, about 25 hours from now, these coaches, Lincoln Riley and Ed Orgeron, will bring their teams to the CFP Semifinals. We are at the College Football Hall of Fame in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. So pleased to be coming to you today from the Hall of Fame. And guess what? The LSU folks showed up. The Oklahoma folks showed up. Well, all right, they're here. Very good. Very good. Again, Tony Barnhart sitting in for Paul Finebaum. I want you to know that I traded messages with Paul today, and he's anxious to be back in this chair. Sends his regard. He is doing well after sort of a bout with some kidney stones, but Paul is doing well. Just want you to know that. We have an absolutely full show today here from the College Football Hall of Fame, so why don't we get it kicked off right now with our opening headlines, shall we? All right. Coach Ed Orgeron thinks Aileen Clyde's Edward Hilaire will play. I don't know. It sure doesn't look that way to me. Our Harley Roga had a chance to catch up with Coach Orgeron.
Coach Orgeron, just a few hours until game time, and I know it's been a game time decision for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. What do you know now that you can tell us?
I think he's going to try to play. Whether he can play the whole game, 1 or 2 plays, we don't know, but we're going to let him go, see what he can do.
What have you learned that you can do without him if he's not able to play?
We're going to use all 3 backs. All 3 have different skill sets. Clyde's a tremendous player, but these guys will be ready to go.
That's one piece of your offense. What else can you rely on that you really know you can rely on in this moment?
Joe Burrow.
Enough said. Thank you, Coach.
Well, speaking of Joe Burrow and the Oklahoma defense, whoever plays running back for LSU is looking at a defense that's had some trouble stopping the run. They better than they were a year ago under Alex Grinch, but 33rd in the FBS, 56 yards per rush, 4.0. Rushing touchdowns, 18, tied for 56. We'll see. This is going to be an interesting part of this game. What does LSU do with the running back if Clyde Edwards-Helaire cannot go? Piece by Ross Dellinger in Sports Illustrated. Ross will be with us later on in the show. Transfer-heavy playoff could be college football's new normal. The fact that 3 of the 4 quarterbacks in this college football playoff started somewhere else in their career, and we're going to talk to Ross about that. All right, Texas Bowl, Texas A&M, Oklahoma State, SEC Bowl season starts tonight. Storyline for this, is this the first game of next season for the Aggies? We'll see. Here's what Jimbo Fisher had to say about that.
It's a great feeling because it sends you off in the offseason with a great positive note, and you want to win the bowl game and you want to play well. But it's still 2 different football teams. I don't care what that group. This is the last time this group of guys will ever play on a football field together. See, when you put that in perspective, you don't think about that. I mean, this exact group of guys, this is the last time they'll ever play together. So that dynamic of that team is right now. You want to end it great for them. It's a great positive experience for your guys learning how to prepare for a bowl game, how to mentally get ready, how to have the preparations. Because that's an art. Listen, we're the only sport in America that ends its season and waits a month to play.
You're right about that, Jimbo. Look, speaking of bowl season, here are my top 5 bowls that are not in the college football playoff involving SEC teams. Michigan and Alabama in the Citrus Bowl. I am really anxious to see how Alabama plays in this game. You sit there and look at the other ones, the Sugar Bowl, Georgia and Baylor. A year ago in this game, Georgia played Texas, did not show up. Will Georgia show up in this? Is this the last game for Jake Fromm at quarterback, or is he coming back next year? Is this the last game for D'Angelo Swift? Will he be back at Georgia next year? Let's go to the Outback Bowl. Auburn, sitting there, has a chance to become only the 15th team in school history to win 10 games. The last time this Auburn defense is going to play together, I expect them to play very well against Minnesota. The Orange Bowl, Florida versus Virginia. Florida has a chance to win 11 games for the first time since 2012. This is going to be an interesting game for Florida. I think they take care of Virginia very easily in this game and start getting ready for next year. Tennessee and Indiana. Tennessee and Indiana in the Gator Bowl. Tennessee started 1-4, folks, and has a chance to finish it off with an 8-win season. That was pretty good. Let me mention 2 others. Music City Bowl, Mississippi State versus Louisville. Mississippi State will start Tommy Stevens at quarterback. The Paul Finebaum show was able to confirm that Garrett Schrader was indeed involved in an altercation and will not, after practice, will not play in this game. And finally, the Belk Bowl, Kentucky versus Virginia Tech. I'm going to watch this game because I want to see the last game for Lynn Bowden Jr. What he has done at Kentucky this year has been absolutely remarkable, and they've got a chance to finish with 8 wins. Not bad off of a 10-win season last year. We have got, folks, an incredible lineup of guests today. Here's the breakdown right here. Marcus Spears, my man, is going to be with me at 3:15. A lot to talk about with him. We mentioned Ross Dellinger, who talked about the transfer quarterbacks. This is the wave of the future. Laura Rutledge, always glad to see Laura, who will be with us at 4 o'clock. Coach Gene Chizik of the SEC Network. Looking forward to talking to Coach, sort of breaking it down from the coach's perspective. Dennis Adamovich, College Football Hall of Fame CEO here, is going to sort of run us through some of the new things the College Football Hall of Fame is doing on the 150th anniversary of college football. Marty Smith, I always enjoy talking to this guy. He's got a lot going on. He has an interesting perspective on this. Greg McElroy, always good to visit with Greg. 5:30 Eastern Time from the SEC Network. Alyssa Lang, who's at the Texas Bowl with Texas A&M, will join us at 5:45. And Glenn Gilbo, who knows as much about LSU football as anybody I know, will join us at 6 o'clock. So this is a full show, folks. We're here at 7 o'clock Eastern Time to take your calls at 855-242-7285, 855-7285. Let's do a call right now. Ryan in Texarkana. Ryan, are you with us?
Yes, sir. How you doing today, Mr. Tony? You look well, and you do an excellent job filling in for Paul. He better not get too sick too often.
Well, bless your heart.
Yeah, and let me ask you something about that has to do with the transfer portal and the red shirt rule.
Yep.
And I was wondering if and only if, due to this transfer portal and guys leaving early for the pros, if they would ever think about changing the red shirt rule to 5 games, if and only if the 5th game was a bowl game. And
Ryan,
how do you think this year's matchup is compared to the other years? Just to get your thought on that.
All right, well, first of all, Ryan, I love your idea. I've always maintained that you should always be able to play all the freshmen in a bowl game no matter what. I mean, what I believe, I'd like to see have 5 years to play 5 and do away with the red shirts and all that. The coaches would want more scholarships if you did that. But I think yeah, if you're a freshman, Ryan, and you only played 4 games to date, you should be able to play in the bowl game. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The idea is to get these guys ready for next year, so I love your idea. As far as these matchups are concerned, I believe these are as good as we've had. Now, we got to play the games. I think Ohio State and Clemson is going to be an incredible game. A lot of talent on that field. I'm giving the edge to Clemson right now. I got friends telling me, Barnhart, you are totally wrong, because Ohio State is one of the most talented teams we've seen. We'll see about Justin Fields, the quarterback of Ohio State. Is he ready to full go? And you can't discount the fact that Clemson and Dabo Swinney are playing the no respect card. That's a big part of it. As far as LSU, Oklahoma goes, I think it's going to be a great game. I'm giving LSU the edge simply because I think Oklahoma has lost too much with their best pass rusher, their second leading tackler at safety. I think that's too much for Oklahoma to overcome, even if Jalen Hurts does have a good game. So.
Yes, sir, and I'm thinking, too, as with every ball game, turnovers and players' responsibility, playing their responsibility offensively or defensively can turn a game, upside down in a hurry. As I've been watching UNC and Temple, I believe, in the Military Bowl or whatever. But yes, whatever team plays clean, fewest mistakes, fewest penalties, I think has the upper hand to win the game.
All right, Ryan, listen, I appreciate you calling. I got to run to a break. Folks, we'll be back in a bit, and our man Marcus Spears is going to be with us.
Name any card you like. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people say the ace of spades. The reason being it's a very popular card.
Okay.
But up to you. I don't want to influence your choice.
Say it out loud.
Say it out loud. Up to you. Any card except the Joker.
Six of hearts.
Okay, now, did you feel like I influenced your choice?
Nope.
But it felt like a completely free choice.
Yep.
Did you want to change your mind?
Nope.
Okay, there's only 51 cards inside the deck, inside this deck here. The 52nd card is inside the box.
It better not be.
You said the
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
What? Okay, so first time he said the six of hearts, could have said anything. Okay, so I will drop the cards. Your choice. Say stop for me this time, and obviously I'll be able to look at it in the camera, so I'm gonna look off in the distance here.
Stop.
Okay, remember the card?
Yep.
I will kind of pan over the group.
Yep. You can show the camera if you want. Okay.
We got it. Okay, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now even though I did not see the card, I know something about the card. Obviously, I know it is not the six of hearts.
Right.
It's not the six of hearts.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. Okay. If you hold yours for a second, the second card, was it red or black?
Black.
Club or spade?
Spade.
Medium, in between what?
Medium.
No, because I have a spade inside my pocket, a black spade. What is it?
Six of spades?
Six of spades, which
Yes.
is interesting, but this is a six. But this is the six of hearts, the one you're holding.
Get out of here, man! What is that? This not man.
That's the six of spades.
So again, I will flip through, put your finger inside, stop them as they fly by.
Pop.
Okay. Again, I will look down, remove the one. I will take it out, look at it. I'm looking on the ground here.
Yeah, he's not looking.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Throw it back inside the deck, and hold the deck. Okay. Now look at me. Do not move your lips. Think about the card and scream the card inside your head. Nine of hearts. Was that it?
No, you got to come back. This is too good.
Think of any card inside your head. Do not look at them. Don't touch them. Just think of any card except the Joker.
Okay.
As he's deciding on a card, tell me when and where to cut. Entirely your choice.
Cut.
Okay, I will cut the cards exactly at that spot right there. We will set the cards down now. Keep in mind, you told me when and where to cut, and you're thinking of a card.
I am.
Which is interesting because you went back and forth between two cards, but you went back to the first card. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. In a loud voice, tell us the card that you're thinking about.
10 of diamonds.
The 10 of diamonds. Mm-hmm. Give me a small number.
2.
2. Then if I pick up the deck, the second card would be the card he's thinking about, the 10 of diamonds. Okay. Pick up the deck here, turn them over. So this is 1, and this is 2.
Come on!
And we are back in Atlanta, Georgia, here at the College Football Hall of Fame. We're not about 24 hours from now. We're going to have the college football playoff between Oklahoma and LSU. That's a nice addition to our downtown area of Atlanta. And we are here. We are joined by the aforementioned Marcus Spears. Spears, what was that guy doing, man? I've never seen you lose it like that.
I'm from Louisiana. That's voodoo, bro. That's not card tricks. That's voodoo. Straight up. And I was looking at that big Ferris wheel. You think it's a weight limit on that thing? Because I want to go ride it.
No, you got to go ride it, dude.
Okay.
No, you got to go ride it.
Make sure it's not a weight limit on there.
Well, what killed me was looking at Tebow. I mean, you sitting there, got your head down like this, and Tebow's going like,
yeah.
Man,
yeah.
what is that dude doing, man?
What is he doing? First of all, that dude had a great story. He was homeless. I mean, he was raised an orphan.
He's called Magic with a meaning.
Magic with a meaning. And
okay,
man, he is unreal. What happened was we saw the reaction to the players when he was doing the card tricks for them out here. And our producer, Pete Waters, was like, we need to get him on.
That's awesome.
And he freaked me out, bro. Tom, TB, I know I pulled the 6 of heart out of that deck, dude. I'm still trying to figure out how you got
spooky.
it.
That is spooky.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this game a little. First of all, your people are back here.
Yeah.
Your people are back here.
Man. Yeah. See what you did?
I love it. I love it. All right, big picture question first. Big picture question. You know LSU. What they have done to this point in the season has been miraculous in terms of the way they've transformed themselves. As somebody who's close to that place, what's your big picture assessment of what they've done this year?
Welcome to the what century are we in? The 21st?
21st, I hope.
Welcome to the 21st century of playing offense. Number one, right? When you think about even conversations you and I had. Tony, why won't they spread the offense out? Why won't they throw the ball 30 or 40 times?
Yep.
Why won't they implement the things that we see having success in college football?
Coaches are hard-headed.
Coaches hard-headed, man.
Yes.
So finally, just overall, it's two things we always said. LSU had the athletes to compete with anybody.
Always.
And all they needed to fix was the offense. And they did those two things. Now, obviously, some things fall in line. Like, this is one of those seasons I think we'll look back 10, 15 years from now and we'd be like, how in the world does all of that come together at one time, right? Joe obviously transferring from Ohio State. Ed O getting the job through an interim phase at first. You think about the coaches they wanted, Herman, Jimbo, all of the things that it took to get to this point, I think fuels this team. It's a lot of underdogs on this team. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was told he was not big enough to play football. The receivers starving to be on center stage because they knew they had that type of talent. A lot of things came together for LSU this year, man.
Well, Coach O said something interesting in one of the press conferences, or maybe when he talked to Holly, is that Joe Burrow has changed the culture of LSU offense forever.
For sure. TB, think about this, man. And I would add two more names, Steve Ensminger and Joe Brady.
No doubt.
Think about this. If I'm 17 years old and I'm in this culture of high school football right now where teams are spreading the ball out and you want to be at the Elite 11 or you want to be amongst the names on the ESPN 300 who Lugs does a great job of breaking those guys down, you want to go somewhere where you're going to throw the football.
Sure.
Like that's when I was a tight end coming out of high school, I wanted to go to an offense that utilized the tight end. Like what you see is a progression by LSU overall. And Joe Burrow's, the meaning that Joe has had to this program is that you didn't get the nod at Ohio State. You came here, we put you in a great system. You performed at an elite level. I mean, he won the Heisman. Think about that for a second.
Him and Billy Cannon. I mean, that's it.
I mean, it's two. Think about the great players that's been through LSU. And Joe Burrow, within 16 months, became the second Heisman Trophy winner in the history of LSU football because of a scheme change and because of him being in the right place at the right time.
And don't you know that Odell Beckham Jr. and all those great LSU receivers over the years are sitting there watching, dude.
Why not us?
Dude, why not us?
Him, Jarvis Landry, Michael Clayton, Devery Henderson, Josh Reed won the Biletnikoff with Rohan David throwing the ball to him. But to that point, TB, it's never been a question about the players.
Never. No. Well, and the thing about it is, when we talk about changing the culture, whoever becomes the head football coach after Ed Orgeron is done, he can never go back.
He can't go back.
You can never go back.
Can't go back. Nope. And the way Ed embraced it, right? I was a big proponent for Ed early. A lot of people weren't.
No.
But I saw the way the players responded to him when they played hard for him. The last 7 games of the season, after Les Miles got fired, Ed Orgeron got a team to go into A&M and win a game. They competed hard against Alabama, still lost. They won, 6 of the 7, I think, and ended up having a really good season, and then went and played Lamar Jackson in a bowl game and shut him down. So you saw the rumblings, but I thought he would be the guy. And then you have the phase of you got to be smart to hire the right people.
Right.
He hired Matt Canada, didn't work.
Nope.
He said, that's not going to work. Thank you for your service. I'm going to move on. Went out and found the right guys. Like that, to me, that's coaching. They delegate power. That's what the great ones do. As much credit as we give Nick Saban and Dabo and Urban and what those guys have been doing, they've done a tremendous job delegating power and identifying talent within coaches. And Ed O is on on that path right now, man.
And he walks into Steve Ensminger's office and says, here's what I want to do. Are you cool with it? And Ensminger said, let's go. And you know coaches with their egos, you're bringing in a 29-year-old guy to tell me how to run up. No, no.
But that tells you about winning is everything for this team. Like, I've been around them, TB. If it's going to help us be good, we in.
Right.
And look, for all the conversation, Joe Brady won the Brawls Award. And Steve Ensminger did nothing but congratulate him and talked about wanting to usher him in to learning and having longevity in this career. If it's an unsung hero on this team, it's Steve Ensminger.
No, I don't think there's any question about it. Hey, look, you had a chance to talk to Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator.
Who I love,
by the way. I heard nothing but great things about the guy.
I love him. I love him.
What were your takeaways? Because now we're sitting there looking at an Oklahoma defense that's lost their best pass rusher, that's lost their number 2 tackler in the secondary. What was your takeaway from talking to him?
Well, here's what. First of all, Alex has great perspective, and he got an edge to him, which I'm a defensive guy. I like that. Yeah. He's been doing a tremendous job this year of giving the illusion of pressure, with it looking like a 5- and 6-man rush, like we got an extra guy that you can't block, and it ends up being a 4-man rush. Bringing safeties down close to the line of scrimmage, and you don't know if they coming or they going. But he's had to play defense that way. If you look at Oklahoma's numbers of total defense against the rush, against the pass, everything is markedly better, like 70 spots better. So that tells you what type of job he's done. And we've sat here for years and said Oklahoma has been a defense away from possibly winning 1 or 2 national championships. So they're better.
They're better.
They're better. They're a lot better than they've been. Now, the question is, now you test your mettle against the best on the other side of the ball, right? But he has a plan. And look, this is the one identifier for me, and talking to you, which I love talking to you about football because you have so much knowledge and know all of these guys. How much do you reach out to guys that have been successful? Right. To me, that determines, for me personally, that tells me if you really are going on your way to being one of those guys. And the list of guys that he talked to try to figure out things and nuance to try to get this, you're not going to stop LSU. No. But you want to create some opportunities to take the ball away from him. He's done a great job.
Indeed. I could talk to you all day, my friend.
You know what it is,
it's good to see you, brother. All right. Thanks for being with us. Marcus Spears, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
He's our guy right here. All right, welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia. We're here at the College Football Hall of Fame. Those are the Springs. A lot of people like to play in those. I don't know if you do it this time of year or not. Oh, my. That is one of our legacies from the 1996 Olympics. It's at Centennial Park. Showed you this earlier in the year by Ross Dellinger of Sports Illustrated. The fact that 3 of the 4 quarterbacks that are playing in the college football playoffs started their careers somewhere else. And that's a subject we're going to talk about as we bring on Ross Dellinger from Sports Illustrated. How are you, my man?
Good.
Everything good?
Yeah, everything's great. Good to be here in Atlanta, the heart of college football.
Absolutely. It's good to have you here. So let's start with that broad topic first. You write, hey, folks, we got 3 transfer quarterbacks in the college football playoff. You better get used to it because that's why we're headed. Why do you feel that way?
Yeah, you talk to people in the industry, and it's become a position that's so important in college football with the spread and passing that coaches are going out and they're looking every year for a new quarterback that can come in and plug and play. And I don't think that's slowing down anytime soon. I talked to LSU's offensive coordinator, Steve Ensminger, about it earlier here in Atlanta, and he kind of expressed, look, man, this ain't slowing down. This is going to be the new normal in college football. And I think it's just the way the game is going offensively. That position is so important. We see with LSU, right? I mean, without Joe Burrow, where is LSU at? Probably not right here. So, and they went in, and Ed Orgeron identified that was a weak spot for them, and they went and got a plug-and-play guy.
Well, and I've talked to people about this, and the reality seems to be is once the backup quarterback finds out he's the backup quarterback, he's out of there. I'm going to find some place. I know I'm good enough to play. I'm going to find some place to play.
Yeah, and that's a part of it too, right? I mean, there's a whole other issue of this is not just the coach looking for a player, but the player looking for playing time. And you know, we see that in the grad transfer thing has obviously changed stuff. You know, Joe Burrow's a grad transfer. Jalen Hurts, a grad transfer. You know, Justin Fields got the waiver approved. So you're seeing these guys be able to play immediately, and that changes the entire thing, you know, and they want to play, you know.
And I was going to ask you about the transfer portal. It seemed early on, you mentioned Justin Fields, you mentioned Tate Martell, they got waivers. It was almost like the NCAA was handing out waivers to everybody at the beginning, and since then they've sort of dialed back on that. Does that slow this down, even if you're not getting the waivers?
Maybe a little bit, but I think what we're going to see in college football, and I think it's coming, and you know this, Tony, you know, over the offseason they make all the different policies and changes and bylaw changes. And I think this offseason we might see a change where you're allowed, you know, 1 year to transfer and not have to sit out.
Okay.
So you're allowed that 1 year. I think we're coming to that, which is going to give obviously a lot more opportunity to kids. But I think that might be coming. If not this offseason, it feels like it's soon.
So bottom line, you get one free move.
One free move.
You make that one free move. If you want to move after that, you got to sit out.
Got to sit out a year. Yep. And I think that'd be good. I think a lot of coaches agree that's the way we're headed, and that should be the way we're headed. Certainly, players want that, you know, and we're seeing a lot of bylaw changes and changes in college football last few years. I mean, now you had the NIL stuff where it's all for players' rights, and this would be another thing that would be for players' rights, and it feels like it's coming.
Now, Ross, you spent a lot of time in Baton Rouge. Can you put in perspective kind of what they've done, how they have flipped the script on LSU in simply one calendar year?
It's hard. It's hard to explain because you look at what they did last year, you know, in Joe Burrow, and I mean, decent numbers, very kind of a ho-hum year.
He was okay.
You're right. I mean, I don't think, you know, it was 201 odds preseason to win the Heisman for a reason, because last year's first year as a starter was just okay. And it's hard to believe that, and I think it was, you know, a combination of things. Obviously, Joe is good and has been good for a while. And I think he needed to get into a system that spread the ball around. So Joe Brady came in from the Saints, and they've done that. But there's one factor that's being overlooked, I think, that's not written about enough. And it's the time that Joe and the LSU receivers spent in the offseason. And you kind of hear this, Tony, a lot with teams. Oh, we worked hard in the offseason, you know, player-led stuff. But you talk deep with LSU people, these guys were jumping fences, literally jumping fences of high school ballparks to practice there over the summer. And so him and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, they were doing, Terrace Marshall, they were doing that stuff. And I think it's paid off. I think that's what you're seeing as a connection that you didn't see last year because Joe showed up in June, you know.
And so weren't they going to catch like 10,000 balls or some ridiculous number
it's 10,000.
like that?
I think each one of them wanted to catch 10,000 balls, and I think they did.
That is unbelievable. You know, we those of us who followed LSU like you have heard it year after year after year. Oh, yes, this is the year we're going to change the offense, and this year we really mean it. Coach Orgeron told a really interesting story, and he's told it to a lot of people, including you, is that, you know, if you win 10 games, you're not really tempted to make any kind of radical change. But he said when they got beat 29-0 by Alabama, that's when he knew.
Yeah. And then you look at what happened after that, where you saw them opening up a little more in some games, and you saw Joe put up some pretty good numbers. I think his last 4 games last year was also kind of a factor in Ed saying it's time for a change, you know, a radical change. And it was a risky thing. You know, that's the thing about Ed Orgeron, man. He's made some decisions that were pretty risky that have paid off. One, going out and getting a guy who is a backup at Ohio State, you know, in Joe Burrow. Another, bringing in Cole Tracy. Remember, he brought in Cole Tracy a couple years ago, the kicker,
absolutely,
who won him a couple of games, including the big one at Auburn. And then, of course, he hires a 29-year-old who's never been, let alone a coordinator, never really been a full-time assistant on the FBS level, in Joe Brady to come in and just overhauled everything. You know, Joe Burrow told me first day of kind of the spring, mid-January, you know, they start passing out playbooks, and Joe Burrow's looking at it going, what is this? And Steve Ensminger said, welcome to the spread, basically. And it's really been something. But it's something the coaches certainly saw after Alabama late last year with Joe. We got a quarterback in receivers to do it. Let's do it.
What was that meeting like when Ed Orgeron walks into the office of Steve Ensminger? He said, "Let me tell you what I'm thinking."
And I think they were, Steve and Ed, as you know, they go back a long way, two Louisiana boys.
Oh yeah.
I want to actually say Steve at some point was in Ed's wedding, maybe. I mean, they were pretty close. They worked together, maybe at Northwestern State for a little while, maybe, or crossed over in some way. So they go way back, and they get along really well. They mesh really, really well. And I think they were in agreement on this, that it needed to happen and that they had the tools to make it happen. And Ed's told the story where I think late last year, maybe even after the last or before the last regular season game against A&M, Ed went to Steve and said, we need to make a change. And Steve said, let's do it, you know?
Yep, well, that's what you have to do.
Yep.
You have to be, sometimes you have to be bold.
Yep, you got to be bold. They
Really
certainly
do.
were.
Ross, always good to be with you, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're here to take your calls at 855-242-7285. This is.
I don't think you're sitting here at the college football playoff if your team hasn't gotten quite a bit better. I think we have. I think we've had different challenges throughout the year, and we've been able to face most of them and come out on the good end. So probably more for me right now would be the preparation we've had in the last several weeks. Our goal has been to play our very best game, and we put forth a schedule that had that and only that in mind. And our players, coaches, everybody have executed that extremely well. So that's been our goal from day one. When we found out that we were going to be in the playoff and playing a really good LSU team, was let's play our very best. And I think we've done the work to get that done.
Obviously, he was a young player when we played him. They're doing more things with him. He's the leader of this football team. He looks like to me he's the heart and soul of this football team. I have to commend him to going into a new situation and obviously have won it over by, I'm assuming, the way he works. Knowing him and his character and what he's done and working with Coach Riley, I think that those guys have a tremendous system, a tremendous program. He's very smart. He's very difficult to stop. But I'm going to tell you what, the scheme makes it tough. And those guys they block more people in the box than you have, and then they have C.D. Lamb sitting out there. It's a very difficult scheme. They know how to call the right plays, but he runs the ball like a big tailback back there and also throws the ball well, and also has come back from a deficit to lead his team to victory. I do believe he's a great leader. I think we were a little surprised by the Ole Miss quarterback. We knew he could run. They had a scheme that really got to us a little bit. We weren't as prepared for that scheme as we thought we'd be, and he was faster and they were better. I don't think this is going to be the case. That doesn't mean we're going to stop him. We know this guy's a great player. We know they have a great scheme. We know they can make plays. Now, we're just not going to shut down this offense, you know what I mean? But we need to be in the right place at the right time. We need to play our blocks. We need to tackle in space, and we need to keep coming after it. This is going to be a war. This is going to be one of the hardest offenses we've tried to stop since I've been here at LSU. And Jalen's one of the best players. We know that. He's beat us twice already. So he has the ultimate respect from the head coach here and everybody on our staff.
All right, welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia. There's a Mercedes-Benz Stadium. 4 o'clock tomorrow, number 1 LSU versus number 4 Oklahoma. College football playoff semifinals at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Greetings, everybody. This is Tony Barnhart sitting in for Paul Finebaum until 7 o'clock. We're here to take your calls at 855-242-7285. We have some callers on the line right now. Let's take them right now. Let's go to Herb in Arlington, Texas. Hello, Herb. It's Tony Barnhart.
Hey, Tony, how are you today?
I am doing very well. Thank you.
Good. This is my first time calling to the show. And I'm actually a long-life resident of Baton Rouge area, but had to move over here about 10 years ago because my wife's daughter got transferred for her job. However, I am a staunch LSU supporter. And I thought I'd bring a little history into this, and I think I'm correct. In 2004, LSU played in the Sugar Bowl, played against Oklahoma for the BCS National Championship.
Correct.
Their quarterback, Jason White, had just won the Heisman Trophy.
That is correct.
And their running back, Adrian Peterson, either did not play or was limited in playing. So this is kind of deja vu in reverse.
It is sort of a deja vu in reverse. I was at that game. I remember it well, and it was a LSU's national championship under Nick Saban, and it was a fun game to watch. You're right. It's like deja vu in reverse.
Right. That's all I was talking about. Because when I heard these things, I said, "My goodness, that's just like the 2004 championship game, except in reverse."
Absolutely. Well, Herbs, who's going to win the game? And I assume you think LSU is going to win the game. Why are they going to win the game?
Well, I'm hoping they're going to win the game. I have a fear of their quarterback, of Oklahoma's quarterback, running the ball crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my only fear. Other than that, I think LSU would dominate.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
Because of their passing attack and their other three running backs are not bad ball players either.
No, they're very highly recruited guys. Price and John Emery was the #1 high school running back in the country last year. So I think they'll be fine. The only thing that we're picking up today here, Herb, is that there's concern that Clyde Hilaire was so good. He's so good at picking up the blitzes and giving Joe Burrow a little bit extra time. That I know that's what they're concerned about. But we'll see. Okay, let's go to James in Louisiana. Hello, James.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
I was going to ask you a question. About 4 games ago, there was a player, Michael Divinity, left LSU's team, and I understood here about 2 weeks ago he was wanting to get reinstated. Do you know anything about that?
I don't. I do remember when Michael Divinity left the team. I do remember that. And they were sort of non-committal about what his future is going to be. But we have not gotten any updates since we've been in Atlanta about what his status is.
Okay, then. Thank you, Tony.
Okay, thanks for calling. Let's go to Joe in Red Bay. Joe, you called back.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling.
Well, good. I'm enjoying the show today, Tony. Everything's looking pretty good, and I'd like to give my input. I've thought about this. And the first thing I want to say about I-Man yesterday, I heard his call and, what he was saying, but at first I would have to value his opinion before he could ever cut me down because his opinion does not mean jack squat to me. And in case he don't remember, he said Bama don't have a dog in the race. Well, Auburn don't either. And at least we're playing a good team, and they're playing Gophers. So... enough with that. But I think Oklahoma is going to win this game tomorrow. And the reason I say this is the reason that other caller just said, Jalen Hurts. Because Jalen Hurts has been in this big game before. And Oklahoma's whole team has been in this game before. They was in there last year. And LSU, I don't know if Joe Burrow is going to handle this or not, but I got faith in the Bama Boomer Sooner, Jalen Hurts. And I think he's going to have a record-setting day because basically, LSU, they're not going to handle it. They're stickless corn dog brains, and that's going to show up in this game tomorrow. It's going to be close, but I'm pulling with Jalen Hurts to pull this out the end because LSU is overlooking Oklahoma. And like I said, Oklahoma's been in this game before. They was, they've been there. They was there just last year. And I don't think that LSU is going to handle the big moment. But that's my thought. But anyway, I'm enjoying the show, Tony. Y'all have a good one and roll tide.
All right, Joe, I appreciate that. It's interesting to think about what would it be like. Jalen Hurts, we talked about this on the show yesterday. Jalen Hurts, when he takes a snap in this game tomorrow, this will be the 4th consecutive year that he has played in the college football playoff. He played, he didn't play as much with Alabama as he did in some years. Obviously, in 2016, he was the starting quarterback. 2017, he was benched when they played against Georgia. 2018, he only got in a little bit at the end of the semifinals against Oklahoma. But if somehow Oklahoma were to be able to win this game and advance to the national championship game, then Jalen Hurts will have played in 4 consecutive national championship games. I don't know that anybody has ever done that. Maybe some freshman at Clemson has done it. Maybe that's so, but I think that is absolutely incredible. Brams, we have any calls left before we go to break? All right, let's go to Steve in Alabama. Steve?
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
I'm
how
doing
you doing,
great.
Tony?
I'm doing great.
I got with LSU and Oklahoma game. I think the biggest part about it. Well, maybe you can answer this. What officiating crew's going to call this game? Do you know?
You talking about the game here at Saturday? You about Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Oklahoma LSU.
Yes.
You know what? I don't know. Other than I know it won't be Big 12 officials and it won't be SEC officials. That I can tell you. They always get a neutral. They get a neutral crew to do that.
Oh, okay. Well, Oklahoma may have a chance in me.
Well, all right. I appreciate that. Listen, thanks for calling. We have got to run. Listen, folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're here to take your calls at 855-242-7285.